Their game on Tuesday, and we're about to analyze this, Neil, it may be a must-win game, considering that Tennessee is a really good opponent. It's Syracuse's last chance to get a quality non-conference win. And John Rothstein over from CBS Sports, he had an article earlier on Monday, December 1st, talking about how this is a very important game for Syracuse and Adrian Autry. Of course, it's on Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Like we've already mentioned here on the show, Donnie Freeman will not play against Tennessee. But you want to know something very interesting, Neil? The net rankings and all those other advanced metrics, they don't have any asterisks next to team names with injuries. So they don't really care one way or another that Donnie Freeman is out. I'll ask you this right now, Neil. Is tomorrow's game against Tennessee a must-win?
Like, I feel like I could answer two ways, and I'm not copping out, but I feel like it's a must-win from the standpoint that, as you already mentioned, the rest of their non-conference isn't like overly daunting. And so I don't think, unless I haven't analyzed it well enough, I don't think they would necessarily have another quad one opportunity, because I'm pretty sure the rest of their non-conference games, as well as the one on Tuesday night, are at the Dome, and the rest, beyond Tennessee or mid-major. So from the standpoint that, let's say they lost this game, they could still be 9-4 in the non-conference, which isn't awful. They've had much worse records in non-conferences, schedules last few years, but they wouldn't have any like really high quality wins. And then you're, as you mentioned earlier, you're relying on, kicking butt and taking names in the ACC for your resume. And that's your only way to build your resume at that point. And then obviously, go out and win the ACC tournament. But we know that Syracuse has had struggles in the ACC tournament since joining the ACC. So like from the standpoint of non-conference analyzing, yes, it's a must win. From the standpoint of, I think also from like a confidence standpoint, given that Syracuse did go 0-3 in Vegas, had their shot against Houston, and then fell apart in the third game against Iowa State. And like you said, they don't have Donnie. So, and we don't know for how long. Autry said it's not season ending, but okay, this is his fourth straight game. So like from that standpoint, it's like an important game. If I'm just being like super pragmatic about it, I could say, well, it's not a must win, because they could lose this game, go 9-4 in the non-conference. And then let's say they go 16-4 in the ACC, and they win at Duke, and they win at North Carolina. They win at, I'm totally blowing stuff out my butt right now, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I had some people on the Inside the Loud House social media channels after the Iowa State game say kind of what your talking point here is. Oh, if they don't lose to or if they don't beat Tennessee, the season's over. And I'm like, I write back and say, well, technically it's not, because they could go crush it in the ACC. That being said, I don't think we'd have a lot of confidence that they're going to go crush it in the ACC if they go 9-4, but can't beat anyone really high quality. And again, they could beat up on some other ACC teams that are kind of middle of the pack. But you're telling me if they're 9-4 and having beaten no one really of importance, no disrespect, in the non-conference, are we going to be optimistic that they're going to win at Duke, that they're going to win at Louisville, that they're going to beat Virginia, NC State, et cetera, et cetera? So again, it's not a must win in terms of if they lose this game close, they play well, and they get their crap together. I'm not declaring the season over, but for multiple reasons, it's a very important game. I guess I'll just put it that way. Very important.
I think it is a very important game,
yeah.
But to your point, it is not technically a must win. It's not like last year.
Right.
Where last year, the ACC had a historically bad year where there was one team that was elite. There was another team in Louisville that was good. And then North Carolina was like a bubble team.
They shouldn't have been in the tournament, but whatever.
Whatever. You know what I say to bubble teams?
Just win more.
For being on the bubble.
Just win more.
Yeah. Win more games.
Win more games.
Yeah. Win more games, and you're not on the bubble. That's the problem. You're on the bubble. Don't be on the bubble come March. You're not having a conversation about making the NCAA tournament.
Right.
North Carolina got in. One team got out because of it. Not my problem.
Yeah.
Win more games. But last year, there were no opportunities for Syracuse to get any quality wins in the ACC. They could win a game in the ACC, but if it didn't come against Duke or Louisville, it was
moving the
not
needle.
going to be considered impressive.
Right.
When I look at Syracuse this year in the ACC, I look at the fact that there are 8 ACC teams currently in the top 50 of the net rankings.
Mm-hmm.
That tells me there are quality games on the schedule for Syracuse within the conference. Now, what I will say about this Tennessee game is that you cannot have a repeat of what happened against Iowa State. You can't. You have, if you're going to lose this game, it's got to be much more like Houston and less so like it was against Iowa State. You cannot get embarrassed by Tennessee, especially on your home court. You can't do it. Furthermore, after Tennessee, you keep mentioning 9-4 in the conference. It's not just about winning the remainder of the non-conference games.
You got to blow teams out.
You got to dominate them.
Yeah.
As we learned early in the season, it's like which I think we're still technically early, but you get the point. You got to win these games by a significant margin, or else you're going to look at the net rankings. Let's say Syracuse against Stonehill, whatever. I'm just throwing a random game out there. They win that game by 5 points. They're going to lose spots in the net. It's not going to help them. They're going to go down. Right? You have to beat that team by 30, 40 points, or else the advanced metrics are going to say, you know what? Yeah, you won, but you're not a good team.
Right.
Because you can only beat this team who's rated wherever in the net rankings. So with Syracuse, I will backtrack what I said after Vegas, that this game is not a must win. They can lose this game and still make the NCAA tournament. And I'm not just saying that to keep interest for the rest of the Syracuse basketball season, but they would have a ton of work to do if they can't win this game. Because, you want to go on the road and beat Duke. You want to go on the road and beat Louisville. You want to play North Carolina twice and at least get a split.
Right.
That's what it's going to take. You might have to go 2-2 in that stretch if you don't beat Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think we're on the same page with this one. And I do think the ACC, at least initially, is looks like it's a stronger conference, than last year or even other years. Because it wasn't just last year was historically bad, but I feel like other years they'd always have a team go to the Final Four or whatever, like whether it was Duke or Carolina. Obviously, UVA won it in 19. Miami went to the Final Four in 23, but they would only get last year. They got 4 teams in. Yeah,
I think 3 to 4.
3 or 4. I think it was 4.
Correctly.
But then for multiple years before that, I'm pretty sure they only got 5. So so it's definitely. But again, just to reiterate, I'm not declaring the season over with if they lose to Tennessee, just like on the face of it. But if they get blown out, like you said, at home, this would also be the 3rd straight year they've lost to Tennessee. Last year was in Knoxville. The year before that, it was in Maui. And it just doesn't look good for like the optics. And Syracuse, as you said, they did come out and they blew out the first 3 opponents. It was Binghamton, Delaware State, and Drexel. And then they had that close one against Monmouth. But those first 3, those were encouraging. Because as we've talked about on your fabulous podcast, like last year, they barely beat Lemoyne. They went to double overtime with, who was it? Youngstown State. Yep. They beat Colgate by 2 points. So yeah. I didn't see the odds listed yet, but I assume Tennessee will be the betting favorite. Not that I care about that kind of stuff, but I don't know.
They are.
Yeah. They got to win this game. They got to win it. They're at home.
Find a way. I agree.
They got to win this game. Sorry. They got to do it.
I agree with you. And it's like, oh, Donnie Freeman's injured, but it's like, at what point? I'm sorry. I don't care. It's like, it doesn't matter that he's injured. Like these rankings don't care about injuries. Yeah. They don't. If there was a slider in there that said, you know what, Syracuse was missing their best player, therefore we're going to dock them less, then I'm with you. Like it is an excuse. But the reality is that we're in year 3 of the Adrian Autry era. Every year, and I warned people about this last year, every year there are injuries. Yeah. Guys are going to get hurt. Guys are going to go down. This is contact sports.
Yep.
These are high-flying athletes. Like, stuff happens.
Yep.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate reality of sports that people get hurt. And nobody wishes injury upon anyone, even upon our greatest rivals. We want everyone to be healthy, right? That's what we want.
Darn straight.
But it's not a reality. Guys are going to get hurt. Donnie Freeman got hurt. Hopefully he is back soon, but he's not playing against Tennessee. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. You have to find a way to beat Tennessee. It ain't a must-win game, but it is super duper important because if you don't win, good luck going through the ACC, which looks like it's a lot tougher than it was a year ago.